So, I did ask the question in an earlier episode: was it possible to create jobs without spending money? And my thought is no. We see from this process that General Electric is making the effort to create jobs, but they're also spending money to do so. So, for the sound bites that come across, like we need to cut spending, we need to create jobs. It's not. You can't do both. You do have to spend. You think about the example of, even so simple of hiring a babysitter. You have to pay the babysitter. You have to pay the babysitter. You have to maybe give the babysitter some training. But you do have to spend money in order to pay that person. So you cannot create jobs and cut spending at the same time. It's just not possible. Um, okay, anyway, back to the article. To do his part in closing the gap, Obama has relied largely on the $814 billion economic stimulus law signed in February 2009 and a series of smaller tax breaks and subsidies, which is also a form of spending money, intended to jumpstart hiring. He's also called for doubling U.S. exports in 5 years. And so there has been efforts from the U.S. government in order to provide stimulus and tax breaks and incentives and subsidies, but the hiring just isn't there. And so the business community is demanding more. I don't know how that's going to end up, but it just seems to be a very circular argument. I'm going to go to another article, and this is something that I printed off from the Wall Street Journal, and it's called "States Get Their Way and Lose Rail Money." So we just talked about high-speed rail, about GE making efforts for high-speed rail, and that's also vicious, I guess it's vicious, circle of an argument. We had some elections in the Midwest or all across the United States. In the Midwest, there was a large turnover of governorship from Democrat hands to Republican hands. U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood rescinded nearly $1.2 billion that had been allocated to Wisconsin and Ohio for new train lines. Wisconsin, which received $810 million for a passenger train between Madison and Milwaukee, will have to forfeit the entire amount. Ohio must give up $385 million of the $400 million allocated for a train connecting Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. The funds will be redirected to train projects in 14 other states. California and Florida will receive the largest portions, up to $624 million and $342.3 million, respectively. Wisconsin will retain up to $2 million for the Chicago-Milwaukee line. And so, Governor-elect Scott Walker in Wisconsin made this quote: "While I would have preferred to have the $810 million reallocated to repair crumbling roads and bridges, I'm glad that the State Transportation Fund will not be on the hook for a minimum of $7.5 million of operating subsidies every year." And so the reason that they turned down that money from the government is they did not want to have additional expenditures year after year to subsidize the rail. And so again, while they did rescind that money, I think they also rescinded job opportunities at the same time. That's my thought. In California, which got the largest portion of the redirected money, departing Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger told Mr. LaHood he would be happy for his state to take the funds that Wisconsin and Ohio rejected. And so in Ohio, Mr. Strickland, Ted Strickland, asked in a long letter. He outlined his reasons for supporting the train. Democrat incumbent Governor Ted Strickland asked Mr. Kasich, the incoming governor, last Tuesday to support the train, consider supporting the train. He goes on to say, "I urge you not to begin your administration by foregoing significant near and long-term employment opportunities for struggling Ohioans." So public transportation is a very large employer. Public transportation is a large employer of blue-collar workers, engineers, project leaders, construction workers. And so by turning down passenger rail development, they also did turn down jobs too. And that's unfortunate here in the Midwest that occurred. So taking it back to Des Moines very quickly, there's another article that's in the Des Moines Register. This is from the Friday, December 17th Des Moines Register. Some West Glen shops are struggling to survive. And so that's going back to economic issues. While we do have a strong economy and in the state of Iowa, there are some issues in particular parts. And so this is West Des Moines. And it's a struggle that retailers are having at a shopping mall that's out in West Des Moines. And let's see if I can find a continuation of that article. Okay. Launched by 6 investors, Gary Kirk, William Van Orsdale, Robert Pulver, Robert Horner, Terry Moss, and Tim Urban, West Glen was supposed to be surrounded by houses and townhomes. It's not. To the north is the green expanse of the village of Ponderosa, a mixed housing and commercial development that looks like a park with no trees and playgrounds. Developers there are shifting gears and want to build 222 luxury apartments just north of the Super Target. They're abandoning plans for owner-occupied townhomes in favor of custom homes for which there's more demand. There's just not enough rooftops, so their answer to that is to build more homes, having more residents in that area, more residents to support the stores, the shopping centers that they're constructing out there. There are other areas in the U.S. that had shopping centers constructed in suburban areas. And the real problem involved with that is sprawl. It's sprawl, and it's unfortunate that there's not enough residential character or pedestrian traffic to support the extreme amount of building that they're doing out in that area. And for the answers that they're coming up to be more building, all we can do is watch and see how it plays out. That's all we can do. Okay, so let's see. This is the last article. Des Moines economy again rated in the top tier. This goes back to the debate I had here on the show of different outlooks on the economy and different issues of the Des Moines Register, sometimes just days apart. So this article goes on to quote from the Brookings Institute, which is Public Policy Center, and using that to support its contention that the Des Moines economy is again top tier. The Des Moines metro area's economy was among the 20 best performing in the country in the third quarter despite employment weaknesses, a national report Wednesday showed. The Brookings Institute also listed the Madison, Wisconsin, and Omaha metro economies among the strongest for the quarter ending September 30th. Metro areas dependent on car manufacturing or hard hit in the housing boom and bus struggle the most, said the Brookings Center. Cities that rely on government, health, education, or oil and gas are recovering better. So that's their take on our Des Moines economy. I read articles where it said the economy is good, the economy is bad, jobs are up, jobs are down. And so this is what the Brookings Institute says. Brookings says the nation's metros face an uncertain economic recovery, and this is why. Quote, this is now a two-phase recovery, according to Howard Weil, a Brookings fellow. The optimistic phase showed continuing output growth and widespread increases in housing prices, but the pessimistic phase showed a sharp reversal in job growth, high unemployment rates, and an increase in foreclosures. And so that kind of is the Brookings Institute answer to the question I had about why some articles are creating a positive outlook on our economy, and then others are creating a negative outlook. According to the Brookings fellow here quoted in the article, there are two sides to that story. So that's Blue.Green.Fusion for today. Look at McQueenPress.com for future episodes. You can also go to TV to follow and learn more about past episodes. These episodes also go out on iTunes and Facebook and Twitter and a few other social media outlets. So just search for Blue.Green.Fusion. You'll find us somewhere. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope to see you next week.